Another episode with Makaisha and Direct Sunlight. You're only one decision away. You're only one decision away. To some of you, this might sound intimidating. To some of you, it may sound exciting. I know it was a mix of both for me when I first heard that. You're only one decision away. Away from what? You might be asking. You know what? You're only one decision away from discovering your alignment. It's one choice. Every day is the same day relived. Now, this gets a little esoteric for some of you guys, so I'll keep it simple. But every single day is a brand new day, but it's the same day as before when we make the same decisions as we made the day before. The things that we understand that our brain comprehends what has already happened. That's what the purpose of our brain is, to process. That's why the brain and the mind are different. And even though I don't have the scientific knowledge at this exact moment to prove to you that they're different, I know that stuff will become more prevalent as time goes on. So when I say mind is matter, that does not mean brain is matter. Brain is actual matter. Your brain is a physical thing. Mind is a little different. Mind is the thinking power behind everything that happens. The mental astuteness, the mental intelligence behind things. Behind how you think is a thinker. That thinker is the mind, not the thought. Follow me? So how does this help you in becoming more aligned with your purpose? This is a very interesting, heartfelt, genuine conversation to have that doesn't get had many places. So we're going to have it here today. And if you want to actually converse with me about this, DM me on my Instagram at It's Makaisha. We can go in deeper on like your personal perspective. And no, there's no sales involved. This is just a conversation that I'd love to have with anyone who's like open to this stuff. But if you like this type of communication style where you sit back, you listen, and in your mind you're having that conversation, totally fair. I like to describe and define the word decide because every time I do it, it brings me so much clarity. So let's do it again. We're going to go ahead and define the word decision. To come to a resolution in the mind, not in the brain. Okay? To come to a resolution in the mind as a result of consideration. Now, when we go into the etymology of the word decide, we find decide has a two-part meaning. I know exactly what it is, but I will read it for you. D, the DE part in decide is cut. Or no, excuse me, is off. The DE part is off. And then kader is to cut. Decide, dekader, is to cut off. The decision to cut off what is not serving you is the decision that is going to elevate your consciousness. And it doesn't have to, you don't have to do anything beyond that. Like the reality is, with an elevated consciousness, a human being acts differently just naturally. You get that? All this effort, I went through a lot of effort and a lot of trial and error to get this understanding that I'm sharing with you. but you don't have to. Like, I didn't realize I was choosing the struggle way to get to the truth. Now, there is struggle, there is contrast, there are challenges, right? To get to who you are, because there's so much piled on top that you can't see through all of the other stuff. Remember my golf ball analogy in the last episode? You have a perfectly white golf ball and you kick it into some mud. Now it's got mud on it. Someone else picks it up and they throw it into a sand trap. Now it's all muddy and sandy. And someone else picks it up and they're like, oh, this looks like it could be, nice little chocolate if I put some chocolate on top of it. Play a prank on someone. Anyone ever done that to you? It's actually happened to me, not a golf ball, but someone disguised something as something else, like those cakes people make that look like couches and flowers, whatever people are doing now. But that analogy is like, after a while, the golf ball doesn't really recognize itself as a golf ball. It recognizes itself as all the other stuff on top of it. So as we delayer all of these different things and we clean off the golf ball, naturally, what's the golf ball going to do? When someone swings to hit it, it's going to soar. It doesn't have to put in any effort. It just has to sit there and be in position. Being in position is having a good vibration. We are understanding it. I love humanity right now because more humans are understanding that energy, vibration, and frequency are the ways of life. I don't mean like the rule book or anything like that. We go to God for that. I'm talking about, if you want to understand why things are the way they are, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So as you raise up your vibration, naturally, you will operate as a different being. Just like if someone were to try to hit that same golf ball with all the crap piled on top, it wouldn't go as far. They may miss it because it's blending in with the background. You see? So with the understanding that when you make a decision, that's all that needs to happen for something to change. Like, how profound is that? Had I known this 10 years ago and actually believed it and cared to make a different decision, I think I'd be a lot different. I'm not saying I'd be more ahead of where I am now. I'm exactly where I want to be and where I need to be, and growing in the direction of where I'm going. Ooh, I like that. Growing in the direction of where I'm going. That's fire, right? I would just be different. I would make decisions faster because I would realize, ooh, every time I make a choice, that's an opportunity, right? That's, ooh, another change, another shift, another graduation, another stair step. I used to freeze with decisions. I used to ask 30 people to help me make a choice. Please, I got this thing in front of me. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Now I've got 30 opinions plus mine, which equals another 30, right? So 60 opinions. And which one is the right one? Then I would go into this state of, okay, now I've got all these 60 options. Let's meditate on it. Let's write it down. Let's do some journaling. Let's make a list, pros and cons. I went through those little exercises, and that's okay to do when you're making a decision, of course. Do it what feels naturally good to you to make a decision. And it's okay to get other people's opinions on things, right? However, your leadership in yourself and your trust in yourself first comes from your trust in your ability to make a decision. Now, why don't people like to make choices? I didn't want to make choices. I didn't want to make decisions because innately we know what words mean without knowing what they mean. That means if I decide to do this, I'm cutting off everything else. And I'm like, I want to do everything. Amazingly, I still did everything, even though I had to make one choice. I still got it all done because after that choice was made, it made room for the next choice and the next decision for the next thing or something related to it. And and how do I put this? The fight, flight, freeze, I would fly and I would freeze. Okay, I would fly and freeze when decisions came up. I just wouldn't make one. Do you know how much pain that put me in? Looking back, like look back on all the choices you did not make. Sometimes it's good not to make a choice. I'm not saying that. Okay. I understand this is a generalized topic. That's why I said if you want to get deeper on this and actually have a conversation, DM me, get into my inbox. Okay? And then you might be led to a group that all we do is empower and relate and excite and anticipate all of the things that we're headed toward, all of the good, the purpose filled, the alignment driven, all of those things that community is being built for. Okay. But if you want to have a conversation, let's do it. But it's okay sometimes not to make a choice. I recognize that. Okay. Sometimes no, what is it? No news is good news, right? Sometimes it can work like that. But I would say about 99% of the other times, it makes it is like our duty. That's why we have willpower. This is what our God, our creator, gave us willpower for, is so we can choose, we can make decisions and just realize I didn't want to make a choice because of three things. I wanted to do everything. I didn't want to cut myself off and limit myself. So I thought I was limiting myself. The second thing was I did not trust in my decision making from my past. I didn't trust that I had already made good decisions, even though I had. I was looking at the bad ones, the quote bad ones that still led me to my glory. I can't believe it. Everything okay. And then the third thing, I'll cut it off there. The third reason why I wouldn't make a decision is because I cared what other people thought about me too much. I really, really cared about what other people were thinking of me, how they would feel about the choice I made. So those were my three reasons. Do they relate to yours? If this is something that you feel may be a weaker strength of yours. All of our weaknesses are strengths. They just need to be exercised, right? And giving myself a break, I promise you, like not you can it's okay to have a vision. Like visions are necessary in order for us to continue to live and grow and succeed. We are a success already, by the way. You being alive is a success. Ask God. God does not fail. You are a success being born, period. It's over with. You've already succeeded in life. Accept that. But I what was I saying? Darn it. I just wanted to remind you of that. You know that. Even though you may not have heard it, you know it. You know it. Just know it. You are already everything you need to be. And the minute you accept that, whew, all of the things you've been asking for are right there. They're right there, right in front of you. What the heck was I saying though? Oh yeah, do you relate to those three? And if you don't necessarily relate to one or all three, take a minute after this and literally write down why, like title your page, why it was hard for me to make decisions. Because right now, what I would invite you to do is challenge yourself to just make one extra decision that you normally would not make in a day. If that's your friend asking, where do you want to eat? Because that for me, I'm like, oh, wherever. And then I became vegan. I became a little bit more picky, right? Um, if it's your friend or your boyfriend or your girlfriend asking you, where do you want to go eat? And you're usually not the one to pick, or you're always like, no, honey, you choose. Like, make that choice. Just start with little stuff. If you're not usually if you're always kind of like, if you get to a stop sign, I love my driving analogies. If you get to a stop sign and it's like you both pulled up at the same time, that person's supposed to go first, but they're not going. It's like, I know it's polite to like flash your lights, honk your horn and say, no, go ahead. You stop, we stopped at the same time. You're the one who has the right of way. Sometimes just go, like, just make the decision to go. You know what I mean? Like, release all these like shameful things. Oh, I'm going to be rude and stuff like that. Just release it. It's okay. Make tiny, tiny, tiny decisions. And I promise they're going to lead to big ones. They're going to lead to some big ones. I'm telling you, man, it's just a weaker muscle. And the more that we strengthen it, it's so easy to strengthen like your physical muscles, but muscles you can't really see and touch and taste, right? Those are a little more difficult. But after about 2 years of really dedicating myself to like, God, I just got to make decisions, I've been put in so many beautiful opportunities that have forced me, because I graduated from, okay, you've made little decisions, you feel confident in those. Maybe you aren't necessarily um, uh, delighted with the outcomes of them. You still made a choice. The making the decision is the outcome. Don't worry about what an outcome might give you when you make this decision. If they want to go eat tacos and you want to go eat steak, you say, no, we're going to go eat some steak. Don't feel bad about it. It's okay. Because guess what? They might have tacos at the steak shop. I've seen that. Haven't you? We're in America. Good Lord, they got fusion restaurants. They got Asian mixed with Greek food now. I mean, what is going on? But you see what I'm saying? And now after 2 years of doing that, I have had to start to exercise. And this is just a little bit of giving you a little bit of like a light at the end of the tunnel. It had me just the decisions. Now that I got okay with making decisions, that was step one. Step two was, now let's see how you can discern the decisions that you're making to see if they're in alignment or not in alignment with what you want. Ain't that fire? Like, once you get good at making decisions, the next step is like, let's see, like, not how good you are at making decisions, but how in alignment are you as you make these choices. I've had to make like 5, I'm telling you, within the last 30 days, guys. I'm not exaggerating. If you talk to people who know me, they don't even know this stuff because it's all happening so quick. I've had to make, I'm not exaggerating, at least, I can't even count them all, 5 major, like, life-changing decisions, seriously, in the last 30 days. And that's why this topic is coming out right now, because I'm seeing that next, like, I'm in that next step. Like, I'm not miles ahead of y'all. You may think I am, but I may be 1 or 2 steps ahead of your level of awareness of something. Like, not ahead of you, but just ahead of your level of awareness of something. And you're probably 5-10 steps ahead of me in my level of awareness in whatever you specialize in, whatever is your passion, whatever is your light, right? But as I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh my God, I had to make so many decisions. This is crazy. I cannot believe that I could do this. I'm crying. I'm telling you, I was like crying, like, okay, let me get my energy right, Lord. Hold on. Wait, which one? And you got to ask for the discernment help too. You got to commune with your creator. It wants the best for you. Fudge. Had I believed this 10 years ago, it's crazy. It's crazy. You know how you know something, but you don't believe it? It's like, I know that God wants all of its children to be happy, healthy, and living a great life, but I didn't believe that it was true for me. Are you in the same place? You might be, you might not be. The point is, the discernment is within you, and so is God. So if you are looking to become more decisive, this will help you to speed up the process. Add in with discernment, because they do play together, right? You can compress step 1 and 2 into just one step, right? And just boom, quantum leap. I want you to go faster than I did. Geez, don't take 10 years. We ain't got that much time. Woo, we waking up people now, right? I think you understand where I'm at, though, where we are at, where you are at. You get it, right? It's pretty exciting. Like, I'm sure if you are afraid of thinking of decisions right now and making decisions before watching this, I can probably sense that you feel a little bit lighter. You feel more at ease and at peace, like a little bit. It's not it is an extensive amount, but it's enough for right now. So now that you're in this place, go make a decision you've been not making. Go make a decision that you have been holding back on. Because when I made those decisions this month, I promise you, I was crying. Lord, help me. I need your help. And you said, go within. I said, okay, what's in here? What do I feel about this thing that's being presented to me? Am I saying yes to this because I'm coming from a space of lack and I think this will help me get out of my lack? Or am I coming to this from a space of empowerment, knowing that this is going to empower my future? And sometimes it's a mix of both, but when that lack is in there, I would erase that as like a choice. I would just take it out for now, because that little bit of lack, I promise you, is it if it's not managed right, like if the energy isn't managed properly as you're in this thing, it's going to be very hard to succeed. And that's a whole nother topic. We won't even get into that right now. I do hope, though, that what I'm feeling, I think I know what I'm feeling is right. Feel a little lighter, a little more at peace, a little more ready to make like a little bit of a more tough choice, right? A little challenging choice for you. And I encourage you to do it. I invite you to love yourself. And right now, just give yourself a humongous hug for sitting through these 22 minutes with Micajah and Mind is Matter in order to elevate your consciousness, because not everyone in the world is willing to look at themselves and do things like this, but we need people like you. So thank you for being here. And I encourage you all to message me if you want to go deeper on something like this. And then eventually we'll get you into the group where you can meet everyone who's watching these videos and get all of the interaction that you need and be like, yo, did you agree with that? What did you think, right? How are you making decisions? You get other people's feedback besides just Micajah's, right? Because I don't know everything. I don't have all opinions. But I love you guys so much. This has been the best, like one of my most favorite podcast topics. And I hope you feel the same. I may do a second part on this next week, maybe on the step 2 portion, just to give you a little bit more of that if you're more advanced. And I just really love you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything. I will see you on the next podcast. Let's have a great day. Love you guys. And I apologize for the tardiness of the podcast as well. I had some things going on yesterday, and man, by the time I was done with my day, it was 9 p.m. and it was just a very emotional day. And I'm so glad it happened, because it gave me the ability to bring this message to you today, one that I really think is going to take you to the next level that you want to go to. So again, this is Micajah and Mind is Matter, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Thank you again for joining me. I love you so much. Stay freaking awesome. Oh yeah, be the sun, not its rays. Ah.